What's up, everyone? We are back with some more modern action. I'm, of course, NanMan, bringing you all the modern action here at NanMan's Nerd Corner. And this week, or at least on Thursday, or whenever day you're watching the video, we've got Blue-White Control, Azorius Control versus the combo deck known as Neoform, or some variations of Neoform-esque, whatever name you want to call it. But basically, it's going to rely on Neoform, Eldritch Evolution, to turn your Allosaurus Rider that you cheat into play by removing 2 green cards into something big and scary. So we're going to see how well that works out in this. Blue-White Control, as any other control shell that exists, is trying to delay, stop, deny, do sort of disruptions with the form of counter spells against your opponent here. So we're going to see how well this matchup works for these players as we get into it with this. Of course, every Thursday is our present day, current modern action that we're going to be showing off, and we're seeing right now a little bit of a battle taking place here as Summoner's Pack's going to get cast to kind of tutor up a creature that we need here. So this is, and look at that, Allosaurus Rider. So that is a scary thing. We could see a turn 2 win here. So here's the 2 cards we're going to pitch. Get rid of these, cast this Allosaurus Rider, and there's the Neoform to sack it, and there's the Spell Snare and the Scoop Up. What was the time for that one? Anyone track that? A minute? A minute long game 1? That's... That's one way to go about it. But you just saw that quick grab from our Neoform player there. And they're going into a transformative sideboard this week here to show off. So very interesting, very cool twist on the Neoform style of play. And you see sort of like, oh, okay, you need very specific tools to fight against Neoform. You saw how quick that they can try to combo off. Turn 2, turn 3, things like that. Where the control deck is trying to deny it, and if they did not have the Spell Snare, they were basically dead there. So we're going to jump into game number 2 here and see what we can happen, see what this transformative sideboard looks like, and how it's going to be shifting, and how it might shift the game plan for game number 2. But how's everyone been enjoying the modern format lately? Are you enjoying the craziness that exists, especially with RCQ circuit in full swing? Now, I know there is a Star City Games event coming up at the end of May in DC that we're going to try and attend at least on the Saturday. So if you're looking to sling some spells, get some games in, we'll be walking around at least the event area on Saturday. So you guys can play some Commander with us. We'll have some modern decks with us. So if you're interested in playing in any of those, we'll be wandering around that for a bit that day. So all right, we do see the pitching of the Xenagos. That is part of the combo. So we know some of the combo pieces are still in there with, of course, Galta and Xenagos. You can kind of do the OTK element with Neoform. So, right now we're just sort of seeing, okay, looks pretty similar. No turn 2 stuff. Surveillant going to get found for our Blue-White Control player here. Doing some deciding whether or not they need it. Looks like they're happy with keeping it on top there. So Neoform's in hand right now for our Neoform player. So bit of a goodie setup there. But yeah, of course, if you're interested in seeing these decks, we do have our Moxfield link in the description. You can check that out, as well as any of the other lists. If for whatever reason the specific list is not as up to date, because sometimes we haven't updated them from the previous iteration that exists, let us know, leave a comment, and we'll make sure to update it. But there we're starting to see the transformation happening, because Ice Fang Coatl will come in. Of course, ETB will draw a card. There are not going to be the snow permanents really a factor in this one unless we get all the Icy Fangs out. But a little bit of pokey coming out here. 1 point of damage coming across. No blocks, no effects. Take the 1, and we'll be fetching on the end step. Looking for potentially another Surveillant here. So yeah, there's a couple different variations of control currently sitting around in Modern. Like there's the blue-white one that exists when you have like Icycron Scepter and some Narsets and basically some little like blue-white Planeswalker control element to it. There's Jeskai versions that exist with like Flage and stuff on the back of just sort of the power of the blue-white stuff. But, you know, there's also, are you running Wrath of Skies or not. That's the other kind of question mark in when it comes to blue-white control players there. So another land. Kind of a grip full, but nothing to really do here. We do see a fetch taking place here. So a Neoform player going to be, well, my guess, finding a Surveil land. No, basic. Maybe they only have one Surveil land when they've already gotten it. So, and an Endurance is pretty nice. Getting some threat. So again, that sort of transformative, the debate, what are we shuffling, our own or our opponents? We say, let's get rid of our opponents. Have some lands, has the Days Undoing, go put that on the bottom. And now we have at least a bit of a clock going here for Damage coming across. No blocks, no effects, no responses. Taking the 4. No real way to kind of go about things. Another fetch taking place. I mean, a Wrath of Skies, a Supreme Verdict, something like that could easily answer these creatures. I don't know how many of those tend to be run because they're a bit slower, and when you fight against Neoform, you tend to shave on some of those spells and some of those effects, and you just sort of go, nah, I'm good. I'll wait, you know. But we'll find some more faster interactive ways to deal with our opponent. But let's take a look here and see. What do we got? Another Surveil land going to get utilized here. Get us some information. Get us something to use. And land, nope, don't need it. Lots of lands. And drew another land. You see that basic island there that just get pulled? Alright, another fetch. What do you think about the retro border like that? Are you a fan of the retro? You like just the regular? Where are you at on the land count? I'm a big fan of the... basic plains option there. Love that secret layer art there. We always ask the question, what do you think about those basic lands? Got a Zendikar Forest, one of the unsets. Icycron Scepter going to try to get utilized here. Going to try to do the imprinting. Enters battlefield, exile an instant or sorcery with mana value 2 or less. So this could be something like Counterspell. This could be something like, usually we're going for a way to stop our opponents, and Consign Replicated, countering the trigger. So whatever was going to happen is not going to happen because of course, countering the imprint trigger there that was going to go on the stack. And so we're not going to be utilizing the card, but I guess we'll use it now here. Here we go. Orm's Chant. That's one that normally goes underneath of the Icycron Scepter because you're able to sit here and kick it constantly and be like, yeah, okay, that's fine. In response, because it's on the stack, let's do a Planar Genesis, do a little bit of digging here. Look at those top 4. No land, so we get another card. Looks like grab another Planar Genesis. Do we do it again? Nah, we're fine with it. All right. Pass turn after that. Nothing else to do. So a nice little, like, fog, essentially, there, right? Orm's Chant's really great. Basically stopping your opponent from doing things, especially players that are going to be trying to do a bunch of crazy stuff in one turn. But Orm's Chant in the graveyard, no longer going to be able to constantly cast it off the Icycron Scepter. Another Planar Genesis going to be utilized, finding some more resources. Hey, there's the other Surveil land. Surveil, don't need it. Looks like we got some Counterspell backup. And we'll pitch this creature into our graveyard here. Oh, double protection going on here. So, Veil of Summer, Counterspell, but not a real counter. It's just disruptive. But, oh, Neoform going for the Ice Fang Coatl here. Do we have a Counterspell? I mean, that's gonna be met with some response if it is. All right, we will see. Oculus. So here's the transformative sideboard. It basically pivots into like a Simic Ritual without Birthing Ritual. All right, we see a hard cast Solitude here, which will then be met with that Mystical Dispute. No way to deal with it. No force to stop it. So There we go. And then, of course, utilizing the wonderful infinite tokens here to kind of do our Manifest Dread. Pitch this, turn this into a nice little, look at this. Look at this little dreaded token here. Love to see it. Land tapped, Hollowed Fountain in particular. Nothing to do here. A lot of resources, but nothing to go with. All right, big punchies coming across here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 damage total, and that'll be all lined up. And Counterspell came a little late, and lots of lands, so not what we need here. Very tough there, but cool to see.
We're interrupting our gameplay to let you know about our new affiliate with Nerdgear. Nerdgear.gg/NanMan will take you directly to the website, and as you can see, they've got a bunch of awesome gaming accessories from playmats, life counters with the life tracks, playmat holders, and more. So make sure you do some browsing on the site, find some goodies, and then use the code NGNanMan for 5% off your entire order. But let's get back to our gameplay.
All right, all tied up 1-1 in this series. We're going to see, now that we got to see the information, right, and how to kind of respond to a transformative sideboard. I'm a huge fan of transformative sideboard. It doesn't happen very often in Modern, especially present-day Modern, where you see this sort of like hard pivot into something new. But this idea that we can go, yeah, we'll still have some of the combo pieces here, but now we can just sort of go, oh no, here's Icy Fang Quaddles, here's the way to kind of turn this into a Abhorrent Oculus and just sort of go that route. But sort of land go, we see the pitch of the Evolution going into the graveyard. Don't need that one. All right. Do we have the Icy Fang? Yep, there's an Icy Fang in the hand. Couple lands to go about here. So it looks like we're going to try to go that route. Look, the Spell Snare would be really helpful against some of these Icy Fangs. Also, you kind of want to save it for the Neoform, though. Don't waste it on the Icy Fangs. Maybe they'll never do a Neoform, but you don't have to worry about like the Flare of Denials or things like that with the transformative sideboard, because you know there's only 15 cards available, and they're not going to be able to just go here's 100% pivot in there. They're not running the they're not running the same tools as the Simic style of deck, like the Simic Evolution stuff, but they're very close, So, all right, let's see, land. I mean, it is a control deck. Land Go seems to be the place, but Icy Fang's going to get cast. Do we respond? No response. ETB, draw a card. Draw for turn. Allosaurus Rider available. Do we have any tools? I mean, you don't really just want to jam when there is, like, all that mana open, though. I mean, there's even more Icy Fangs, so it looked like there was at least one more in hand. Yep. See it kind of move to the front because that's going to be the next play. Our blue-white control player here looking a little bit in the tank. Looks like Orm's Chant available and Icy Fang Quaddle coming out. 18 all. Another Surveil land going to be found. Ooh. Is that a Nourishing Soul? All right, we're going to do upkeep in Orm's Chant. Put a stop. Play your land. Pass turn. Doing just sort of blanketing effect here. Another Icy Fang. Look at this. What the heck? End step. Icy Fang. Draw a card. There's the Neoform. Orm's Chant going to be attempted to be used again. Oh, a Traxodron. Don't want to see that there. Generous End going to get cycled. We can be able to cycle it even though we can't cast spells. Being able to force cycle is not casting it. We're just kind of discarding it to go do that effect. So let's go find a nice little tool here. Surveil, keeping it on top. All right, all our enchants getting used here. Used a couple. Ooh, missing land drops. Yikes. A control deck with 3 lands fighting against a combo deck that has 5 lands, you would think is feeling a little bit more lopsided, but with the Icy Fang Coatls basically refilling and utilizing the resources better, right now our Neoform is definitely have that advantage meter going towards them here and kind of starting to creep ahead a bit. But we see a March going to try to get utilized here. Let's kind of use some resources in a way, get rid of one of the Icy Fangs. I see a... what is that, a Narset or Teferi? One of the white bordered planeswalkers here. Ah, Teferi. Attempt to play Teferi. Doing an uptick. Try to keep the Teferi around, it looks like we're planning for. I mean, utilizing that with, like, we've seen the Days Undoing and things like that. Being able to Days Undoing on your opponent's turn could be huge. But also, again, missing a land drop. So that kind of tells you the coast could be clear. You see the Allosaurus Rider here. Yeah, now it's like, all right, unless you have a Force of Negation, I'm, going to be pretty much safe to do this. Pitching 2 green cards, Allosaurus Rider will enter. And even if it sticks around, being a 6/6 is pretty good threat. Let's drop Teferi down to 3. Are we going to go for it? Neoform. Keeping the Allosaurus Rider and actually going to get rid of one of our Icy Fangs. There's the Force of Negation. 4 cards left. There's the check. Oh, no. Eldritch Evolution going to get used. Turn the Allosaurus Rider into something that costs 2 more. Let's find something big and scary. What do we got in store here? So that was like the check. Hey, can I get away with this? Are you going to fight me for this? Yes. Okay, cool. Well, I've got the backup, and I'm going to get something even scarier. 10/10. When it enters, it deals X damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures or planeswalkers, where X is the number of lands you control. Solitude's going to come out here and goes, oh yeah, here's this thing that has pro white, so Solitude doesn't do anything. Let's get rid of this Icy Fang in response, lose basically all of the stuff that we have, and now we have a 10/10 that we've got to contend with only 3 mana. So even if we were able to draw into like a Supreme Verdict, we don't have the mana to cast it. Because protection from white is targeted stuff, but not sort of the go wide board wipe stuff. Okay, Orim's Chant's pretty good. Orm Chant number 3 being cast. There's 4 in the deck. Hey, we found the 4th land. Only a few turns too late. Days Undoing gonna get utilized here. Let's maybe try to shuffle back those Orm's Chant and try to find a way out of this hole, it looks like here. Or maybe try to get an Orm's Chant and a Supreme Verdict to be able to survive. But, like, that's a... Magic Christmas land. Is there a chance? It's possible. We know that some of the counter spells and stuff for a Neoform player are going to get shuffled back in as well, so tough spot to be in here, but we'll see. Big shuffles going. Just like missing those land drops definitely hurt this game 3 moment here for our blue-white control player, and really nice piling by our Neoform player to kind of capitalize on those and sort of see these windows of opportunity and go, okay, the coast is potentially clear. I just have to worry about, the Force of Negations or things like that, and I can play around them and set up my turn nicely. So, and look at this, another Mystical Dispute. So even more sort of protection and backup depending on what happens. All right, big punchies, 10 damage. Dropping the blue-white control player to 5 life here. What are we going for? Looking through, doing the land check confirmation. Fetch Shock. 7 mana. Hard cast the Allosaurus Rider. Here's an 8/8. Here's a Solitude. Pitching this Dovin's Veto. Oh, man. There was the consign to try to keep it around, but it's also like, what's the point of keeping it around, right? It doesn't. We gain 3 life, go to 8, still die. All right, let's dig. Consult the star charts. Maybe in those, we got 5 lands now, so maybe in the top 5 we can find an orange champ. Nope. I don't think it was. All right. What do we got? Any way to get out of this? Oh, right. The Mystical Dispute doesn't even matter. Another Consult going to try to get used here. Look at the top 5 again. And there's the debate about, do you fetch and stuff now? But, like, we already dug 5 deep before and didn't find one, so shuffling those maybe is not the right play. Hey, there's the hand extended there. Oh, he's like, I need a red source for my Xenagos. Nope. That would have been real scary. All right, so we get to see, again, like this sort of... You see the cards that our blue-white control player brought in here. It's like, okay, you're going to be casting spells. You're going to be doing scary things. I need to kind of disrupt those. But then we get to see, here's my transformative sideboard, right? Mystical Disputes make perfect sense. And then the Icy Fangs, the Oculus, right? Like you're just really kind of pivoting into a different game plan of like, react to what you're doing. And, oh yeah, here you go. Oh, there's only 3? And we found all 3 that game? Gross. Or was there 4 and those? Oh, wait. There's 4, but 3 of them I forgot the Neoform player was borrowing. Or maybe there was only 3. I don't know. Regardless, good match there. Lots of cool stuff to be able to see. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Of course, we've got our Pokemon Cube update coming out on Saturday to see the electric Pokemon. Mondays will be more Modern 2015. And then Thursdays are our Modern 2026 adventures. But that's going to do it for us here today. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching, y'all. And I'll see you all next game.